What if the biggest threat to XRP's meteoric rise isn't regulatory hurdles or market volatility, but something far more insidious, a liquidity paradox that's silently reshaping the asset's fundamentals as we speak? Today, November 25th, 2025, with XRP trading at $2.19 after a 9% surge tied to the dual launches of Franklin Templeton's XRPZ ETF and Grayscale's GXRP on NYSE Arca, the charts are painting a picture of uncharted territory. Over $30 million in trading volume on day one, with 1.23 million XRP tokens accumulated by institutions. That's not just momentum, it's a structural shift. But the unspoken problem? These ETF inflows are accelerating a supply squeeze that's outpacing every bull cycle we've seen, potentially locking up billions in XRP while retail investors scramble for scraps. Stay with me, because unpacking this could redefine how you view XRP's path to $8 or beyond by year end. Let's ground this in the data first, because speculation without foundation is noise. As of this morning's open, XRP's hourly chart shows a clean break above the $2.18 support, after testing $2.18 and 70 hundredths per U, today's latest analysis. The daily candle is hovering neutral, but the weekly RSI is pushing 68, echoing levels from the 2017 breakout that preceded a 36,000% run. Volume? Up 22% week over week, with open interest in derivatives climbing to $1.2 billion, signaling sustained conviction. This isn't hype. It's verifiable from CoinMarketCap and TradingView feeds. And the ETF catalyst? Franklin Templeton's XRPZ debuted with a 0.19% expense ratio, waived for the first 6 months, drawing $15.7 million in inflows alone, while Grayscale's GXRP added $14.6 million. Combined, that's institutional capital absorbing supply at a clip of 500,000 XRP per hour during peak trading. To understand why this matters, rewind to the mechanics of ETF launches in crypto. When BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF hit in January 2024, it siphoned $4.6 billion in BTC over the first month, compressing exchange balances by 15%. XRP's setup is amplified. Unlike BTC's proof-of-work scarcity, XRP's fixed 100 billion supply is already 80% circulated, with Ripple's escrow releasing just 1 billion monthly, much of which gets reburned or locked in enterprise use. Now layer on multi-issuer synchronization. Bitwise, Canary Capital, Osprey Funds, and now Franklin and Grayscale all live on the same day. This creates a cluster effect, as DL News termed it, where arbitrage bots and market makers scramble to balance premiums, effectively vacuuming XRP from open markets. Result? Centralized exchange balances dipped to 4.2 billion XRP yesterday, lowest since the July ATH per CryptoQuant data. If this holds, we're staring at a 20% supply reduction in accessible liquidity by Q1 2026. But here's the first layer of suspense. Is this crunch a bug in the system, or the feature that propels XRP into utility dominance? Consider the tweet from @Dr. Magic this week, which garnered 358 likes and 49 reposts. XRP has broken out from a multi-year triangle, RSI approaching 70 plus, for the first time since 2017, BB%B nearing 2017 levels, all without major news, while BTC parabolas and alt season looms. Crazy to think it'll stop at $4 to $5? He's spot on. The Bollinger Band %B indicator, measuring price deviation from the midline, hit 0.85 today, mirroring the exact setup before XRP's 2018 peak. No FOMO here, just pattern recognition. In 2017, that signal triggered a 61.8% Fibonacci extension to $3.84. Apply it now from the $0.11 2020 low, and the math points to $5.32 as the next extension. Conservative, data-driven. Diving deeper into the technicals, let's dissect the surge step by step, because retention comes from clarity amid the chaos. Start with the macro overlay. Bitcoin's at $98,450, up 2% but range-bound between $95,000 and $100,000 per CoinDesk. Ethereum's lagging at $3,420, with ETH BTC dominance at 18-month lows. XRP decoupling beautifully, with XRP BTC pair reclaiming 0.000022, a 4-year range retest, as at Credible Crypto noted in a post with 2,604 likes. XRP ETH reclaimed a 4-year range, first target 250% higher. Monthly RSI entering overbought for the first time in 3 years. Bullish AF. That's not opinion, it's momentum confirmation. The relative strength index on the monthly time frame, crossing 70 signals exhaustion in bears, not bulls. Historically, XRP rallied 150% post such crossovers in 2013 and 2017. Now zoom to the microstructure. On the 4-hour chart, XRPs formed a bullish flag after the ETF news, consolidating between $2.15 to $2.25. Volume profile shows highest activity at $2.19, today's pivot, with a point of control shift upward from $2.10. If we hold above the 50 EMA at $2.16, the flag projects a 12% upside to $2.45 by week's end. But the real tell? Funding rates in perpetuals. Neutral at 0.01% per Bybit data, meaning longs aren't over-leveraged. No cascade risk like March 2024's 20% wipeout. Community echo? AA Charting Guys update, 785 likes. Rejected where expected at strong resistance. 0.91 to 1.61 golden pocket for accumulation, but 1.30 to 1.21 next support. Once above 0.786 fib weekly close, ATH inevitable. Adapted to current levels, that 0.786 retracement from the July high sits at $2.61, break it, and thin air to $3.84, ATH. Teaser alert. Wait until you see how Flare's integration amplifies this. Flare Network, XRP's data oracle layer, just hit 1.3%, up to $0.0132, with FTSO V2 boosting on-chain accuracy by 40%. Tweets like at 24-hour Crypto Ones, 586 likes. XRP coiling to smash $2.30, $2.50 this week, new ATH 2025. Lock in, capture the vibe. But utility-wise, RippleNet settling $18 billion daily now, up from $15 billion pre-ETF across 90 countries, per Ripple's Q3 report. Add RLUSD stablecoin bridging CBDCS and Hidden Roads custody for tokenized assets. This isn't speculation, it's plumbing for $10 trillion in annual cross-border flows, as BIS estimates. Rhetorical pivot. Ever asked why XRP thrives in Q4? Historical seasonality shows 12% average gains, November-December, since 2013, per Coin Edition. Today's setup? ETF tailwinds plus Fed's 75% rate cut odds by December, per CME FedWatch. Cool inflation reads tomorrow could spark risk on rotation. Alt season index at 42, per Blockchain Center, up from 39 last week. What if scenario 1? $2.30 breaks on volume spike. We measure the flagpole from $1.95 low to $2.28 high. 0.33 extension lands at $2.61. Probability? 65%, based on similar patterns in 2021. Scenario 2. Macro dip to $2.05 on hot CPI. Buy the fear. RSI divergence would confirm reversal, targeting $2.80 in 10 days. Layer in expert dissection for that insider value. Hers, Crypto Barbie's post, 626 likes. Wall Street analyst Linda Jones says 4-year cycle could drive XRP to $33. Grounded? Jones models halving aligned cycles, projecting XRP's utility capture at 5% of Swift's $150 trillion annual volume, yielding 7.50 baseline, scaled to 33 on adoption acceleration. Cross-reference, with at the block bulls cautionary. XRP tops $1.65 weekend. Correction to 38 cents December. Black swan warning. Balanced view. His Gann square analysis flags overextension, but ETF backstop limits downside to 15%. My take? Hybrid. 70% upside bias, 30% retrace risk. Net $3.20 EOY. Expanding the supply crunch narrative, the core problem, let's quantify it. Pre-ETF, CEX balances average 5.8 billion XRP. Post-launch, 4.2 billion, a 27% drop per sentiment. Institutions via Franklin bought 780,000 XRP day one. Grayscale, 450,000. At current velocity, that's 2 million daily lockup, equivalent to 0.2% of circulating supply evaporated weekly. Analogy. Like oil reserves tightening amid demand boom, OPEC cuts meet EV surge, prices spike. Here, Ripple's 500 million escrow release gets offset by burns, now 12 billion total, and enterprise vaults. At Levi Rietveld's thread, 531 likes. XRP bull run, just beginning. Analysts eye institutional deltas. He breaks it. Deltas show $1.46 met easily, next $2.10, then $3.50. Counterpoint for balance. Bears argue ETF hype fades, citing 2021's 50% post-peak dump. But 2021 lacked utility rails. Today, 120 partnerships, including Santander's full XRPL migration. At Bullish Banter 01, 122 likes. XRP to $3. 12% up in 25 hours. Shitcoin calls aging poorly. Databacks, OI up 18% per U. Today, with no long liquidation cascade. What if institutions rotate to SOL or ADA? Unlikely. XRP's 3 to 5 second settlement trumps Solana's 400 milliseconds, but with 99.9% uptime versus SOL's outages. Mini cliffhanger 2. How does DTCC integration turbo this? Or Cryptopus tweeted, DTCC liquidity giant turbocharges, XRP flow. Breakout surge incoming. DTCC settles $2 quadrillion annually. XRPL hook via ISO 2022 could root 1%, $20 trillion yearly. At 2% velocity, needs $400 billion liquidity pool. Divide by 40 billion effective supply, post-burns, $10 per XRP floor. At IVOURLEGEND_INC's thread. ETFS rising, supply shrinking, Ripple expanding. $3.50 to $7 in 0 to 6 months, $10 to $20 in 6 to 24. Factual, shrinking CEX, strong holdings per XRPFF. Heat map deep dive. Buy zone $2.15 to $2.18. Pivot $2.19 to $2.21. Sell $2.25 to $2.28. Neutral bias, but MACD histogram flipping positive. Bullish undercurrent. Dominance steady 4.2%. Trending. ETF volumes. XRPZ/GXRP metrics. Flare up 1.5% to $0.0133. V2 data accuracy 45% improved. Symbiotic. XRPL's AMM pools now $500 million TVL, up 30%. Question. Why Q4 outperformance? Coin Edition. Stabilization post-downside, ETF boosts attention, improving signals. $88 million ETF volume as floor. At Riser_Eth's AI pull from Coindesk. 7% surge strongest breakout weeks. Ripple ETFs live. Green across boards. Expert Edge at Chad Steingraber. Hypothetical 2025 Echo. ETFs ignite utility, liquidity boost, adoption spike months out. Crypto Basic, narrative building for explosion. 24/7 Wall Street, structured growth amid bears. Brave new coin, $5 to $10 EOY if lunar cycle aligns. Lunar, volatility ties, but US alt ETF wave, XRP leads. Elephant, why no crash on crunch? Demand asymmetry, a digital asset. Dude, ETF inflows plus retail scoops equals strength build. Osprey XRP R 110 million AUM, Canary XRPC Day 1, liquidity peak. Garden hose to fire hoses on shrinking pond. What ifs expanded? 1. $2.30 break. $2.50 intra-week. Atesh December. Low leverage, stable OI. 2. Macro tailwinds. 80% cut odds. PPI retail data. Pump or dip buy. Utility. RLUSD live deeper. 90 countries. 3. CFTC regs. Positive. Infrastructure shift. At Igra Crypto. $6 to $10 macro. At Tara. BTC. $100,000 expansion. OKC. Compression holds. Domino. 30% tokenized share. $25 to $75 long. Myths counter. 1. Hype fades like 2021. No. Institutional versus retail. Grayscale Dodge / XRP. Trust plus 11% / 5% sustained. 2. Infinite supply. Low exchanges. No vol inflows. Strong. 3. SEK lingers. Dead. 120 partnerships momentum. At Caleb Forest. Case buried. Pain. 15% monthly dip sting. Setup. Crypto potato. Relief bounce reclaims $2.10 to $2.20. Bullish testing zones. Volume tightening pre-breakout. Volatility risks, but $88 million backstop. Positioned, not gambling. Climax reveal. At Ripple Bullwinkle. AI Thanksgiving prediction. Momentum heating. Regs fast. Tomorrow's feast. Models I $8. Crypto Deans. Franklin tips scales. Truth. Crunch feature. ETFs absorb issuance. Scarcity premium. OI exploding. Market regains. Cusp outperformance. Rising. Q4 bulls lead. XR presso. Pundit. Crazy retirements. Narrative explodes. The Street. Rallies ETF momentum. Very bullish. $2.20 plus 0.4% daily. 9% weekly. News BTC. Flashed real signal. Upward. At Striker Quant. 8 to 10% inflows. BTC $101,000. At finance_FXS. Pumping ETF hype. Gainers crush. At Racer. Bullish channel. Gains incoming. Converging. Recap wins. ETF cluster live. Crunch scarcity. Whales accumulate. Higher lows. Utility via RippleNet / Flare. Stacks. $2.50 week. $5 to $10 end of year. $10 to $20 mid-2026. Infra long. Community. At 24 hours. Crypto 1 coil. At IV timelines. Problem. Opportunity. This is not financial advice. Research thoroughly. Consult experts. Education only. If this analysis equipped you, like for algorithm push. Comment. 2026 target. $5, $20. Debates build. Subscribe. Real-time XRP alpha exclusive. Share. Tag sideliners. Community Vanguard. XRP ascends. Leo signing off.